What is happening, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Why Did I Buy a Mini Truck? Before we get into the work we've done here in the front, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we're going to do back here, since this will be coming up fairly quick and, really going to tie the truck together. So, you guys know that we set this up back here temporarily till we got the new tank, and we're going to go ahead and mount the tank back here. But I have decided for simplicity, and so that the bed is usable at least a little bit, we are actually going to move the tank and both compressors, compressor brackets, all that jazz. We're actually going to be moving them inside of the bed. We're going to sit them kind of in this area. And this way, when we go ahead and throw our cover on it, we can keep everything nice and clean. It'll look cool, and I'll have a good usable portion of the bed. Now, I did get that plastic Nissan bed liner. It does fit in our bed, which is awesome. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put our bed on here, and then we're going to see where we need just to trim a little bit for the plastic bed liner. And then this way, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take and make a hump, but I'm going to make the hump out of not an ABS plastic, but probably a thinner sheet metal. And then what we'll do is we'll be able just to form the hump. It'll kind of poke out of the plastic bed liner a little bit, but this way we can use the bed. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to throw some stuff in the back of here underneath the cover and call it a day, if I need to go pick something up. So we do need to lop off these bolt heads or bolts that are welded to the C-notch. And what we're going to do is we're going to weld on those tabs to this crossbar right here. And then that will just kind of move our shock just inward just a hair, but it'll still give us pretty much the same amount of travel. We are going to lose about an inch, but that's not a huge deal because we will be running a different shock for the rear and a different set of shocks for the front. I'm going to try to get away with an OEM Nissan front shock, but we will kind of see how that plays out. So this is something we're going to be tackling in the next coming weeks. So that'll be super fun. It'd be nice to get the bed back on. I did undercoat the bed, which is good, just mainly for road noise, but also really cleaned up the bottom of the bed. So that's great. We got new hardware for it. We got new Darrellin bushings. Well, it's really just a rod that I still have to measure and then cut and drill the center out, but whatever. That'll be another thing we got going on. So over here to the front now, I got the tubs in. Now, I was going to try to do it all with the flux core welder, but the reality is that I'm not that good at welding with flux core. So I did try. I did try a little bit, and I just wasn't super stoked with how the welds came out. So I'm going to come back through with the Miller, and we're going to go ahead and weld it up. I mean, you can see it is not that great, but I mean, they're solid. So that's really all that matters. I mean, they don't look good at all, but for now, they will work. I did make this little panel right here of a cut section of a fender, and this stuff, man, this stuff is super duper thin. I was just blowing through it. Honestly, I might TIG weld this instead. Just to kind of get some pretty welds in here. I want to kind of leave the welds exposed. Obviously, we're going to paint in here, but it'd be cool to see them. If I still don't like how they look, we'll probably just grind them down, and then we'll use a little bit of seam sealer, and we'll seal it up just so they look nice and smooth. Same thing up there, but I think with the TIG welder, we'll be good to go. I did cut this portion flat. Did have a little 90 degree on one side, and then this kind of rolls over to a 90. We did just cut it flat, so this way it wouldn't interfere with a larger wheel and tire setup, which is great. And then you might be wondering, well, why is there a rivet back here instead of welding that tab up? That's because the panel I used to fix this gnarly hole that we had is actually an aluminum no parking sign. I was going to weld. I even bought the metal and everything. I was going to weld it up, but there's actually two pieces of metal, and then in between those two pieces is like a rubber mat almost. I didn't want to risk dealing with that, not being able to get a good weld. I mean, obviously those other welds aren't great, but that definitely would have been a challenge. So what we did was went in here, cut our hole out for our wiring harness to pass through, and then I just kind of used some self-tappers to get it close, hammered it into the shape that it needed to be, trimmed it all down, and then I went in and put rivets in it. So I did sound coat a little bit of soundproof it, the same stuff we used here in the door. And I used some foam in here to fill any gaps that there may be. I mean, there's no gaps between the aluminum panel and the firewall and the tub in here, but there is like a gap like this big where those two pieces and that rubber kind of sit in between here in the well. So I just put some foam in there, let it expand, shaved it down. When we go ahead and soundproof this, you actually won't see any of this at all. I mean, it's going to be hidden under the sound deadening mat, and it'll just look good from the outside. I don't think you can really see it either. Let me pull this fender off, and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. So on the outside here, you can see that, yeah, we got it nice and flush, so it'll be easy to tuck. We did let it kind of come down a little further here in the back, just to kind of prevent any splashing or whatever from kicking up. I mean, this is going to be sealed here with the grommet, but still nice to have a little something to let the water kind of run down the back here. But I mean, you can hardly even see it. Let me see if I can get it with a flash. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to even, you can kind of see like one of the rivets right here, but I mean, I got it pretty close to where it needed to be, and I'm very, very satisfied with that. And then over here, you can kind of see, like, you know, we have it come down. There's just a little portion down there, and then it just ties in to the front. So it worked out pretty well. I do wish the welds were better. Like I said, I was using a flux core welder. I'm not the best at it. I can TIG pretty decent, but I'm by no means a professional welder. So this is just what I'm working with. I got a buddy who's good at welding. I'll see if he wants to come over and talk shit about my welds and hopefully fix them. But I have a feeling it's going to be just a lot of grinding and a lot of fixing them and then smoothing them out and making them look good. But, you know, they're not going anywhere. That's the fender. See? It's just got some zip ties in it for now. But the important thing is that it's straight, right? So the tubs come up the same amount on each side. They come forward the same amount on each side. The rails are straight on each side. The hood lines up great. We did go ahead and order that radiator support. I bit the bullet, whatever. I just didn't want to drill out these fucking spot welds, but I'm going to do it. So the radiator support will be here in the next couple days, which is great. By the time it gets here, we'll go ahead and be done with the front end work we're going to do. And we'll go ahead and get the engine bay painted and then drop the engine and transmission in, which is over in the other garage. And once the engine and transmission's in, we'll go ahead and spot weld the radiator support back in place and just get everything lined up. So guys, that's pretty much all I have for you today. I appreciate it. We're at 52 subs, man. Can you believe that? 52 awesome individuals subscribe to this channel. And I love each and every one of you. So thank you guys very much. If anybody has any cool ideas about kind of how to mount the shocks back here, I don't really want to redesign the whole four-link, but at the same time, I would like to have some shocks that work well and don't look like these ones do right now, which is why we brought those little tiny shock mounts. So these bad boys will go on and we'll be good to go. So thank you all for watching and liking. I'm super excited to get started on the interior stuff, but like I said, we got to make sure that the front end's good. We got those tubs in now. That was a huge task. And sorry you guys had to look at my my poop welds, but I promise they'll look prettier. And if not, well, then, you know, I'm the poop weld king. So that's just how it's going to be. I hope everybody had an awesome weekend, and I will probably catch you guys next week. I think we're going to have a video coming out probably next Sunday, maybe Sunday or Monday. And in that video, we will have the tubs all done. The front end work will be getting done. And hopefully we'll be painting soon. I'd really like to get that engine bay sprayed. We're not going to go anything super crazy. We're gonna sand it all down. We're gonna prime it. We're just gonna spray it like a nice satin black, and that's it. And I do have a super cool idea for the outside of the truck. So we are gonna spray this portion here that's yellow. We're just gonna spray that kind of black, since, you know, nobody ever really sees this anyway. But I have a cool idea that I want to try, where I want to take and do like a paint line right here and kind of like follow it maybe to make it look like the roof is floating. But at the same time, now the more that I look at it and the fact that the glass curls over like this, it's probably not going to work super well, unless I did like this whole top. Anyway, the cool paint scheme we're thinking about doing on the truck, right, is I'm going to spray the whole truck white, just like paper white, like a satin white. And I'm actually going to draw on the truck. I'm gonna basically like tag the truck up. I was either gonna do that, or I'm gonna do that cool like cartoon style truck, you know, like I know you guys have seen it on Instagram. I'm sure you guys have seen it on YouTube. Dude, incredible artist. Makes the trucks look like they're like cartoon, which is super, super cool. Cars, all kinds of stuff. So I might see how much that might cost. But we'll get to it when we get to it. We are going to polish these wheels. I was going to spray them black, but we're actually going to polish them up. They're in good shape. So it'd be cool to have some chrome polished wheels. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. So again, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate you guys. 52 awesome people. Let's make it 55. I don't know. I mean, I'm just grateful for you guys being here anyway. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, peace.